Hello. There's many among the Nazarene that still find it confusing, and they're not really understanding that um, Yahusha came not to unite the evil and the good, but to divide his people from the evil people, or to separate the wheats from the tars, to identify his um, treasured possessions, to call out the remnants or the lost sheep that belong to him. And this becomes apparent in the lives of the Nazarene when we start experiencing our friends, neighbors, family, co-workers all taking a stand against us for speaking truth. So I believe it's a very important topic to address and to understand that we have been set apart from the world, not united with the world, but separated or divided from the world. And once we are been divided and set apart into the body of the Mashiach, then there is no division. So a lot of false religions or men's doctrine or false teachers or uninformed teachers like to teach uninformed students that divisions of sorts are appropriate and within the body. And this is where all the denominations actually are coming from. The denomination means division because they're more than happy to divide the body of Mashiach in order to gain monetary treasures, in order to gain control over a group of people, and they can lord over them. So there's a difference between dividing the sheep from the goats and dividing the body of Yahusha. So let's see if we can distinguish those two and try to come to a better understanding and a better and be more comfortable with the fact that we've been divided or separated from certain family members, friends, the world, co-workers, other people, and we really shouldn't be surprised. It should be no surprise. I mean, we shouldn't be upset or surprised about this because it's plainly taught by Yahusha and other places in Scripture that it's going to happen. So it should be come to no surprise to us. So let's go ahead and start this lesson and study together on division. Let's go to Luke 12 in our scriptures, verse 49. Let's start there. I came to send fire on the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. This is Yahusha talking. But I have an immersion to be immersed with, and how distressed I am until it is accomplished. That's a very interesting statement, isn't it? Do you think that I came to give peace on earth? I say to you, no, but rather division. For from now on, 5 in one house shall be divided. And this is talking about your family here now. 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. Father shall be divided against son, and son against father, mother against daughter, and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And he also said to the crowds, when you see a cloud rising out of the west, immediately you say, a storm is coming. And so it is. And when you see the south wind blow, you say, there shall be hot weather. And it is. Hypocrites, you know to discern the face of the sky and the earth, but how is it you do not discern this time? And why? Also, do you not judge for yourselves what is right? So here we find out that he came to divide the family, not unite it. Why? Well, because some people are following false teachers, and others have come into the knowledge of the truth. Okay? What's evil got to do with good? What does truth have to do with falsehood? There's a division there. So the division is in the family, will remain in the family, because not all will accept or love the truth. And not all will love or practice falsehood. So there's going to be that separation, that division there. So you should expect it. It should be no surprise. Let's go to Matthew, starting in chapter 10. Well, let's go to 10:23 or 24. A student is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. It is enough for the Talmud or student to become like his teacher, and a servant like his master. If they have called the master of the house Baal Zebub, I think that means Lord of the Flies, how much more those of his household? So if they called him Lord of the Flies or demon possessed or something, they're going to talk crazy about you too if you're serving him. Therefore do not fear them, for whatever is concealed shall be revealed, and whatever is hidden shall be made known. This should be an example of that would be the true name, Yahuwah, right? What I say to you in the dark, speak in the light, and what you hear in the ear, proclaim on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. Those who knew the name back then, during the time Yahushua was talking here, were afraid to say it because the penalty was death. And Yahushua was basically telling them not to be afraid to say it. Even though they could kill you for it, they couldn't kill your being. That's pretty powerful right there. And not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin, or not 2 sparrows sold for a copper coin back then, And not one of them falls to the ground without your Father knowing it. And even the hairs of your head are all numbered. So do not fear, you are worth more than many sparrows. Everyone, therefore, who shall confess me before men, him I shall also confess before my Father who is in the Shemayim. But whoever shall deny me before men, him I shall also deny before my Father who is in the Shemayim. Do not think that I have come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. But a sword. For I have come to bring division. And he said not to bring peace, but a sword. You know, his word is a two-edged sword, right? I think we can read that in Hebrews 4. His word is a two-edged sword. For I have come to bring division, a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies are those of his own household. Wow, huh? There? That's there's going to be strife. You can expect it. Strife, quarreling, hatred, animosity, bad feelings, hurt feelings, feelings of betrayal. There's going to be a division there when you start acknowledging and accepting and walking in the Spirit and the truth. It's just, falsehood, deceit, the delusion, the wrong, all that is going to be an opposition to you. So there's nothing, you should not expect anything differently. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to happen. All Nazarene have experienced that. This is nothing to be upset about. Our master told us that this was going to happen. We're reading about it right now. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. That means that if your son or your daughter, your mother, your father, your brother, or your sister, or anybody in your household, is against the truth and won't accept the truth, you cannot, for their sake, relinquish the truth and go back into the world just to satisfy your loved ones. You cannot. You have to keep that wall up between you and them. Otherwise, you're not worthy of Yahusha to be called a son of light. You're just not worthy because you won't. You can't. You have to love the truth, and Yahuwah is truth. And he who does not take up his pole and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who has found his life shall lose it, and he that has lost his life for my sake shall find it. You can't put the world in front of Yahusha. Matter of fact, you're supposed to stay unstained from the world. Okay? That's what this is talking about. And he who receives you receives me. So if you're out of the world, you're staying unstained from the world, you have the indwelling spirit of Yahusha, and you speak to someone and they receive you, and they like what you're saying, they accept and love the truth you're giving them, then they receive Yahusha. And he who receives me receives him who sent me. He who receives a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward. And he who receives a righteous one in the name of a righteous one shall receive a righteous one's reward. And whoever gives one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a student, truly I say to you, he shall by no means lose his reward. That's pretty heavy duty stuff there. So let's run over here to this Hebrews 4 and check that out. Chapter 4, verse 12. For the word of Yahuwah is living and working and sharper than any two-edged sword, cutting through even to the dividing of being and ruach, and of joints and marrow, and able to judge the thoughts and intentions of the heart. And there is no creature hidden from his sight, but all are naked and laid bare before the eyes of him whom is our account. There you go. So he never came to make peace. He came with a sword to divide, two-edged sword. That's pretty heavy duty stuff, really. And so, yeah, I know. I mean, it's painful and it hurts, and it's a hard thing to accept when you break away from the traditions of men, the religions of men, the falsehood, the myths, the false teaching, false teachers, the wolves in sheep clothing. When you tear away from all that and start accepting the truth and calling on the true name of our Creator and the true name of our Deliverer, been immersed in the true name and immersed in the Ruach HaKodesh and all that, and you're set apart, it's very difficult because of your family members and friends. There's no doubt about it. It's a hard thing to sit back and just and you try to explain it to them, and what you really hope for and pray for is that their eyes and ears are open, right, and they come out of the world and join you. That would be the ideal situation, but sometimes you will get one or two to come and join you, but some cases there's none, and then you find yourself all alone, seemingly all alone. You're not really alone, but it seems like you are as far as your family and friends go. But like I said, this is something that we need to expect. It's going to happen. And really, you should be joyful and happy that it's happening, because that means you're on the straight and narrow. You're on your way to eternal life and to live eternally with Yahuwah forever. So let's go through a little bit more scripture here, and so we can get a clear understanding of this. Jeremiah 3, verse 14, it says, "Return, O backsliding children, declares Yahuwah, for I shall rule over you and shall take you, one from a city and two from a clan." A clan's a family. "And shall bring you to Zion. And I shall give you shepherds according to my heart, and they shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. And it shall be when you have increased and shall bear fruit in the land of those days, declares Yahuwah, that they no longer say the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, neither would it come to heart, nor would they remember it, nor would they visit it, nor would it be made again." So this is a little bit prophetic, that he's going to be separating, people from their family and even from their city, or their dwelling places, their dwelling places where they grew up or whatnot, away from friends and associates and things like that. So that's kind of prophetic there. If we go to Micah, chapter 7, we read, "Woe to me, for I am as gatherings of summer fruit, as gleanings of the grape harvest. There is no cluster to eat. My being has desired the first ripe fruit. The kind one has perished from the earth, and there is no straight among men." Kind one is Yahusha. "All of them lie in wait for blood. Everyone hurts his brother with a net. With hands are on the evil. Both hands are on the evil to do it well. The prince asks for gifts, the judge seeks a bribe, and the great man speaks the desire of his being, and they weave it together. The best of them is like a prickly plant. The best of them is like a prickly plant. The most straight is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of your watchmen and your punishment has come. Now is their confusion. Trust no friend. Rely on no companion. Guard the doors of your mouth with her who lies in your bosom. For son is despising father. Daughter rises up against her mother. Daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. The enemies of a man are the men of his own household. This is this is where we just read this in the New Testament, okay? As for me, I look to Yahuwah. I wait for the Elohim of my deliverance. My Elohim does hear me. Do not rejoice over me, O my enemy. When I have fallen, I have risen. When I sit in darkness, Yahuwah is a light to me. I bear the displeasure of Yahuwah, for I have sinned against him, until he pleads my case, and shall execute right ruling for me, until he brings me out into the light and look on his righteousness. And let my enemy see it, and let shame cover her who said to me, where is Yahuwah, your Elohim? Let my eyes look on her. Now she is trampled down like a mud in the street. Like mud in a street. The day for building your walls. Let the decree go far and wide in that day when they come to you from Asher in the besieged cities of Mitzrayim, and from the siege to the river, and from sea to sea, and mountain to mountain. But the earth shall become a waste because those who dwell in it, and for the fruit of their deeds. Shepherd your people with your rod, the flock of your inheritance, who dwell alone in a forest, in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in days of old. As in the days when you came out of the land of Mitzrayim, I shall let him see wonders. Let the nations see and be ashamed of all their might. Let them put their hand over their mouth. Let their ears be deaf. Let them lick the dust like a serpent. Let them come trembling from their strongholds like snakes on the earth. Let them be afraid of Yahuwah, our Elohim, and fear because of you. Who is in awe like you, taking away crookedness and passing over the transgression of the remnant of his inheritance? He shall not retain his wrath forever, for he himself delights in kindness. He shall turn back. He shall have compassion on us. He shall trample upon our crookedness, and you throw all our sins into the depths of the sea. You give truth to Jacob, kindness to Abraham, which you swore to our fathers from the days of old. So there we find out that it's prophetic. Okay, so Zechariah 13, it says, verse 6, and one shall say to him, what are these wounds in your hands? And he shall say, because I was wounded at home by those who love me. O sword, awake against my shepherd, against the man who was my companion, declares Yahuwah Zaboeth. Smite the shepherd, and let the sheep be scattered. But I shall turn my hand upon the little ones, and it shall be throughout all the soil, declares Yahuwah, that two-thirds therein are cut off and die, and 1/3 is left therein. And that's a very, very, very interesting passage right there. And I shall bring the third, that the ones that remain, into fire and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I shall answer them. I shall say, this is my people, while they say, Yahuwah is my Elohim. So here in Zechariah 13, it's mind-blowing revelation, really, if you think about it. Obviously, he's speaking about his people, because he just said they will say, this is my people. Well, he shall say, this is my people, and they shall say, Yahuwah is my Elohim. So the 1/3 out of this group of people, which is Yisrael, okay, because it says up here, I was wounded at home by those who love me. What are these wounds in your hands? Okay, so this is Israel. So out of the Israel, 2/3, and that's a lot, 2/3 is cut off and die. 1/3 is delivered, is left therein. Okay, so is this an inclination of how many people will be delivered from out of all the tribes of all of Israel, including Ephraim and the lost sheep throughout the entire history, the 6,000-year history of man? That's a possibility. It is a very, very strong possibility that this is what this is talking about. Read it yourself. Zechariah chapter 13. Okay, but anyways, there's another division. 1/3, okay, or 33.33%, okay, has been divided away from 2/3 of the people. Okay, that would be 2/3, 66.66%. Okay, so, I mean, that could even be the entire world, but the lost sheep are scattered among the entire world, and so all four corners of the earth and skies is full of the scattered tribes, seed of Abraham, right? So it could be reference to all of mankind who ever lived. 2/3 thrown into the fire and destroyed, and 1/3 delivered. Doesn't mean that 1/3's the bride. I believe the bride is a smaller remnant than that. But it could be the ones that are going to inherit immortality. Read it yourself. It's very interesting now. Zechariah 13. Go to Jude. Jude 1 and 16. We'll go to. It says, these are grumblers, complainers, they complain, who walk according to their own lusts, and their mouth speaks proudly, admiring faces for the sake of gain. Well, boy, oh boy, who's that describing, huh? But you, beloved ones, remember the words spoken before by the emissaries of our Master Yahushua Mashiach, because they told you that there would be mockers in the last day who would walk according to their own wicked lusts. These are the ones who cause divisions, not having the Ruach. But you, beloved ones, building yourself up on the most set-apart belief, praying in the Ruach HaKodesh, keep yourselves in the love of Elohim, looking for the compassion of our Master Yahushua Mashiach to everlasting life. So here we find out that divisions, the ones who cause divisions, not having the Ruach, the mockers, the proud, speaking proudly, They have admiring faces. They look pleasant, and they look pious, like they're pious, and it's all for personal gain. Uh, so here we find out that there's division happening that's illegal. This isn't the division separating the called out ones from the world, okay? This is a division within the false religion or the world itself, okay? To ones who believe, maybe, perhaps they believe that they're in the body of the Mashiach, but really have not been called out. There's also can be illegal divisions within the body of the Messiah itself. And we'll read more about that too. So this here, he may be speaking about the division within the body of the Mashiach itself. Okay, here in Jude 1. Okay, so that's illegal. That's not what Yahusha did. All right, when he's separating the family and your friends, separating you, putting you on the high shelf as a treasured possession, that's totally different. So we can't get confused in the divisions within the body, within the world, or divisions between the set apart ones or the chosen ones or called out ones and the rest of the world. So we don't get all that mixed up. In Romans, we can go to Romans 9:23. It says, "And if Yahuwah, desiring to show wrath and to make his power known, with much patience tolerated the vessels of wrath prepared for destruction." That's the evil people. Okay, they were prepared for destruction, vessels of wrath, for whatever reason. Like I said, I believe that Yahuwah, out of his loving kindness, went ahead and created wrongdoers or evil people or vessels of wrath that were prepared for destruction. Went ahead and gave them life, okay, so that they would understand, or they would know and be able to live a short life, and know that there was an existence, but they would only live that short life. They wouldn't be given eternity. They could, but they won't convert, and he knew it. But he went ahead and granted them life anyway, because he's pure love. He loves them too, and that's why he gave them life, to experience, existence, and experience him, in light. Just so they could just taste it, and that he might make known the riches of his esteem on vessels of compassion, which he had prepared beforehand for esteem. So, same thing. Vessels of compassion. That means we don't deserve to live eternal life either, but we've been given, we've been blessed by Yahuwah as vessels, and he's had compassion on us for whatever reason, okay, whatever his reason was. He sees into the heart, so then if we go to Titus, go to Titus 3. It says, "This is good and profitable to men, but keep away from foolish questions and genealogies and strife and quarrels about the Torah, for they are unprofitable and useless. Reject a divisive man. Reject a divisive man, after the first and second warning, knowing that such a one has been perverted and sins, being self-condemned. So, here, rejected divisive man after the first and second warning, I believe is speaking of within the assembly of Yahuwah or Yahusha, or the body of Yahusha. Is if somebody's in there dividing and saying and this and that, about the Torah or genealogies or surnames or Hebrew roots or whatever, then you're supposed to reject him after the second warning. Don't have any more fellowship with him, unless he comes around, straightens up, stops behaving in that fashion, So there we go. I mean, it's obvious then that Yahusha came to divide. He didn't come to bring peace among the family members and the communities or the cities or your clans or tribes. He came to divide. Okay, his people, his chosen, his elect, his bride from the world, from the wrongdoers. That's pretty obvious. So, Yahusha came for the purpose of dividing. Okay, now we're just going to stay on subject. Of course, he came to destroy the activities of the devil. We know that, and to bring atonement for our sins through his blood offering. But that's not the subject, okay? We're going to stick to subject as the purpose of him of dividing. He came to divide, not to make peace, okay? So in Matthew 25, 31 and 33, it said, "But when the Son of Adam comes to his glory, and all the messengers with him, then he will sit on his throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left." So the ones that have been divided from the world, from the families, one from this family, two from that clan, or a couple from that city, whatever, are going to be the sheep. Okay, separate them in the end from the goats. It's going to be apparent who they are. And when he judges, he comes in the white throne judgment. Yahusha is the judge. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Yahuwah is one. Matthew 10, 33, 36, it says, "But whoever denies me before men, I will also deny him before my Father who is in the Shemayim. Do not think that I came to bring peace on the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I came to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies will be the members of his household." So even your son and daughter that's living with you, they could be divided, or you could be divided against them if you're on the other. If you're one of the goats and they're the sheep, they've come into the truth. So and then again in Luke 12, "I have come to cast fire upon the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled." So he's going to be the one that burns the earth up, and the elements will melt, because Yahuwah is one. He's Yahuwah incarnated. But I have immersion to undergo, and how distressed I am until it is accomplished. Do you suppose that I came to grant peace on earth? Grant peace on earth? I tell you, no, but rather division. And from now on, 5 members in one household will be divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. They will be divided, father against son and son against father, mother against daughter and daughter against mother, mother-in-law against daughter-in-law and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. So there's confirmation right there. There's also, like I said, there's the right division and illegal division. Within the family of the Nazarene or the bride or the body of Yahusha, you could say is the kingdom reign. Okay, we are the kingdom reigns in us. It's here now. Okay, so we are the kingdom reign. Okay, so every kingdom that is divided against itself cannot stand. See, so that's why it's illegal to have divisions within the body. We cannot be divided. If there's an issue that comes up between family members or the Nazarene, it's not a salvation issue because all the Nazarene are being delivered. They've all entered into the covenant or they wouldn't be a Nazarene. And so we don't argue and quarrel over things that have anything to do with salvation or deliverance, or people causing trouble, within the family or within the kingdom. But anyways, a kingdom against itself cannot stand. It's in Matthew 12, 25, 28. And knowing their thoughts, Yahushua said to them, any kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and any city or house divided against itself will not stand. If Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then will his dark kingdom stand? If I, by Beelzebul, cast out demons, I think that's Lord of the Flies, by whom do your sons cast them out? For this reason they will be your judges. But if I cast out demons by the spirit of Elohim, then the kingdom of Elohim has come upon you. Okay, so no division within the Nazarene. So you can't. He's not talking about dividing the Nazarene now. He's talking about dividing the Nazarene from the world. So then, who is divided? Who are we talking about here? 1 Corinthians 3:9. Paul saying to an assembly, "For you are still fleshly." He's talking about the new converts in Corinthia. For since there is jealousy and strife among you, are you not fleshly? And are you not walking like mere men? See, so if there's strife, jealousy in the family within the Nazarene, then you're fleshly. That's an act of being still in the mind of the flesh. You're walking like, undelivered men or unconverted men that's not even in the covenant. That's how you're acting. For when one says, I am of Paul, and another, I am of Apollos, are you not mere men? What then is Apollos, and what is Paul? Servants through whom you believed, even as Yahusha gave opportunity to each one? I planted, Apollos watered, but Elohim was causing the growth. So then, neither the one who plants nor the one who waters is anything, but Elohim who causes the growth. Now he who plants and he who waters are one, but each will receive his own reward according to his own labor. For we are Elohim's fellow workers. You are Elohim's field, Elohim's temple. All right. 1 Corinthians 11, 17, 21. But in giving this instruction, I do not praise you because you come together not for the better, but for the worst. For in the first place, when you come together as an assembly, I hear that divisions exist among you. And in part, I believe it. For there must also be factions among you, so that those who are approved may become evident among you. Therefore, when you meet together, it is not to eat the Last Supper, for in your eating, each one takes his own supper first, and one is hungry and another is drunk. So this is speaking of people that have been brought into an assembly. If you're assembling and they are causing problems. Okay, so then you can easily detect that they are not the bride, or they're not in the covenant just by the way they're acting. In other words, by their fruits you will know them. In other words, 1 Corinthians 1:10-17 says, "Now I exhort you, brethren, by the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, that you all agree, and that there be no divisions among you, but that you be made complete in the same mind and in the same judgment. For I have been informed concerning you, my brothers, by Chloe's people, that there are quarrels among you. Now I mean this, that each one of you is saying, I am of Paul, and I am of Apollos, and I of Cephas, and I of Yahushua. Has Yahushua been divided? Has Yahushua been divided? Paul was not staked for you, was he? Or were you immersed in the name of Paul? I thank Elohim that I immersed none of you except Crispus and Gaius, so that no one would say you were immersed in my name. Now I did immerse also the households of Stephen. Beyond that, I do not know whether I immersed any other. For the Messiah did not send me to immerse, but to preach the Basora, not in cleverness of speech, so that the stake of the Messiah would not be made void." So there you go. It's the divisions of Yahushua is dividing us from our family, friends, coworkers, communities, and whatever, because he's setting us apart in truth. We're set apart in truth. They're still in the delusion or the falsehood, false religions, traditions, okay, in the beast. They're in the beast system, okay? And we've been pulled out, and we're walking in the truth, spirit and the truth. We've put off the flesh and the flesh and the mind of the flesh, and walking in spirit and truth, right? But so that is what Yahushua has come to do. Not make peace, but he's brought a sword to divide. All right, read Hebrews 4. And but the divisions within the body of Yahushua, if there's any divisions, there need to cease immediately, okay? Because they are illegal. All divisions or denominations in the belief and within believers are illegal. The divisions within the false religions, all religions of the world, every single one of them are in error and are wrong. None of them are the true religion, okay? They're all wrong. I don't care which one you name, they're all wrong, because Yahuwah has no religion. No religion required to worship the Creator, Yahuwah. Okay? So, divisions within the religions, the false religions of the world, don't matter. I mean, they're all illegal. That's why there's so much chaos, confusion, fighting, quarreling, arguing, so much division, distraught within religion, because it's illegal. Religions are illegal and divisions are illegal. Okay? Now, divisions within the body of Yahusha itself is really bad, you know. And so if there are divisions or quarreling going on within the body of Yahusha, we need to examine ourselves, test ourselves to see if we are in the belief or not. Because people that are doing that, it's very questionable that if they are actually in the covenant or not, because they're acting like mere mortal men, mere undelivered, or people that are outside of the covenant, the blood covenant. They're not acting like some people that have been brought into the covenant or walking in the spirit and the truth. Don't do that. Okay? So, yeah, it's painful, and I have empathy for everybody. I felt it. I know what it is. I felt it myself. I've experienced it. We all have. But the divisions among the people, and you know, was written. Okay, a division among us in our families, friends, neighbors, cities, communities was written, and so we shouldn't be surprised about it anymore, and we should accept it as the prophecy and truth and fulfillment, and look forward to the reign of Yahuwah. Okay, so peace and love to everyone, and remember to stay in love with Yahushua HaMashiach. So long, Nazarene, beloved of Yahuwah.
Living water, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah, Yahusha. Living water, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba b'Shem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Yahusha, living water, Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. I sing out with praise to you. Your name is beautiful to me, my King. I sing out with praise to you. My heart desires to honor you, my Yah. I sing out with praise to you, Yahusha. Living Torah, Baruch haba Hashem.